What is going on, guys? InfiniteOni here, bringing you my latest and most hilarious Fallout 4 build I've ever made, and that is the Wizard. Yes, you heard me right, the Wizard. The build revolves around a person who is so delusional that they actually believe they have magical powers and is a real wizard, or a witch if you're a female. Going into the Commonwealth, you'll have a strength of 5, perception of 3, endurance of 5, charisma of 1, intelligence of 10, agility of 2, and a luck of 2. Special bookend sanctuary is going to go into perception. With the early bobblehead, you'll have a perception of 5. A strength at 5 represents how much firewood the wizard has chopped and built up a little bit of strength. Perception of 5 represents the fact the wizard's vision is about average. The wizard has taken a lot of drugs, so an endurance of 5 represents the ability to tolerate them and become resistant to addictions. A lot of people think the wizard is crazy for actually believing they're a wizard, despite living in a post-apocalyptic world filled with drug addicts, mutants, giant lizards, and more. This explains the wizard's charisma at 1. If it's one thing wizards are known for, it's intelligence, hence why it's at 10. The wizard is actually a graduate of CIT, or the Commonwealth Institute of Technology, and has learned a lot when it comes to chemistry. Agility of 2 represents the fact the wizard doesn't actually do much when it comes to moving around, unless the wizard absolutely has to. Of course, with a luck of 2, the wizard has all the worst luck, getting themselves in dangerous situations all the time, because of bad decisions, despite having a 10 in intelligence. And now we move on to the build's perks. First up, we have Medic. The wizard believes stim packs are health potions to help him restore vigor. With each rank, potions will be more effective. When the wizard was a child, they would read about a certain wizard who carried a sword. So big leagues represent just that. Picks up a weapon and pretends it's a sword. If it's like a baton, the wizard will believe it's a broken magic wand that simply doesn't work and just whacks people with it. The wizard learned some tricks from the Thieves Guild, or some gang in Boston who just happens to be thieves, and learn how to lockpick. This will allow you to grab the cryolator later on. If you're able to do the dog meat glitch still, and are still able to grab the weapon, you can skip this perk altogether if you want, and replace it with something else. Armor is mainly for ballistic weave for either a bathrobe or some Children of Adam robes. If you feel like playing a spell sword or a battle mage, you can use regular armor too. Commando is primarily for the Tesla rifle, or shock spells. Of course, this can also be applied to most ballistic automatic weapons and every single energy weapon in the game, as you'll be taking science to improve those. With Scrounger, you'll be able to find more ammunition, or mana points as the wizard describes. Whatever you don't need, you can sell for caps or gold, and buy what you need instead. Aqua Boy or Aqua Girl will allow the wizard to have the ability to swim underwater without drowning or taking radiation damage whatsoever. The ability to humans like that is not normal, and people will somewhat believe that you're actually a wizard. Nerd Rage represents the anger the wizard had when they were picked on back in school. Orcs, or high school jocks, would always give the wizard a hard time and bully them, and then the wizard goes mad and starts going on a rampage. When health is low, this will slow down time, make your spells and attacks do more damage, as well as make you more resistant to damage for a short time. Chem Resistant represents the wizard's over drug usage, which allows the person to think they're an actual wizard. This is used in conjunction with Chemist. The wizard did study chemistry at CIT, so they can learn to craft potions or more drugs. This will allow potions to be more effective and last longer. Heavy Gunner is the primary skill for the 2 wizard's wands. The first one being the Flamer, for his fire magic, and the second is the Cryolator, or frost magic. I suppose you could also use a minigun for ballistic magic, if there was such a thing, or a missile launcher to cast magic missile. The Fat Man is used to represent the sphere of annihilation, if you will. Demolition Expert allows the wizard to craft deadly spell packets. Anything from fireballs, which is Molotov cocktails, frag grenades, baseball grenades, etc., ice balls, cryo grenades, or dark energy bolts, or plasma grenades. There's all kinds of things you can do here. Last but not least, robotics expert is used to represent the wizard's conjuration magic. You can craft a robot companion as an elemental of sorts. Of course, you can also just use the synth relay grenades to actually summon a few synths. Now, to the gear section. So before I get into this, I did rename all the weapons to fit in with the build's theme. With that said, we're going to start with Flames, or your Fire Wand, or formerly known as Sergeant Ash. This weapon has a 20% chance to cripple the target's leg, and I believe it's the best flamer in the entire game. You can spray them with fire until their leg cripples to the point where they either slow down or stop, and you can just burn them dead. The mods I have for this weapon is the Napalm Tank, the Long Barrel to increase its range, the Huge Propellant Tank, and the Standard Nozzle. I didn't want to reduce the range by any means. Frostbite, or the Ice Wand, if you will, formerly known as the Cryolator, has a standard barrel, a recoil compensating stock, and the glow sights. The School of Illusion is your run-of-the-mill syringer rifle that's made into a sniper. You can fire a syringe to make your enemies attack one another, similar to the Fury spell in Skyrim. This is a great utility weapon, and it can be fun to use in certain situations. Then we have Sparks, or Chain Lightning, or the Tesla rifle from Automatron, which has an automatic barrel and the reflex sight. And of course, this is a Shim Drone sword, which I renamed the Wizard's Sword, which allows your targets to take radiation damage as well. So now that we got the weapons done, let's go into the apparel section. One appearance you can go for is the long green Children of Atom rags, or any Children of Atom robes for that matter, along with a green hood. This has an appearance that's similar to the mage's robes and hood from Skyrim. Of course, the rags have Ballistic Weave Mark V on them as well. The second outfit is more of the traditional wizard appearance, wearing a blue robe or a bathrobe, modded out with Ballistic Wave Mark V. If you want to get close to a wizard hat, you can always wear the tricorn hat, which just gives it more of a comedic value. You cannot add Ballistic Weave to this hat, unfortunately. The wizard grew up in Boston and loved reading as a child. He always enjoyed stories about wizards and warriors and wanted to become a wizard himself. He also played a lot of tabletop games and LARPs as well. Also, he was known for getting bullied a lot in school due to his nerdiness. He would then graduate and get accepted into the Commonwealth Institute of Technology and got a degree in chemistry. He used these talents in order to create potions and lots of drugs. Also had a knack for modifying certain electronics as well. Eventually, during the Great War, the wizard was drafted into the military and was forced to fight for his country. He miraculously survived and made it out of there. He then met a fellow nerd named Nora who happened to have a degree in law. The two got married, had a son named Sean. Well, you know the rest. On October 23rd, the bombs fell. After seeing his wife die and his son captured, the wizard just couldn't take it anymore and let everything out. As far as factions go, the Institute all the way. He's a graduate from CIT, so it makes perfect sense. Plus, he wants to be with his son Sean, so it's a win-win situation for the wizard. I suppose you could side with the Brotherhood and be a scribe, but it just makes more sense to be in the Institute. As always, folks, I thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments about the build, please be sure to hit me up on Twitter at InfiniteOni, or you can just hit me in the comment section and I will get to you as soon as I can. I playtest all my character builds on Twitch at twitch.tv/InfiniteOni, and the O is a 0. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care now, and bye-bye then.